everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be talking about my least favorite books that I read in 2017. So let's just get into it. Yes, 2017. It was filled with a bunch of really amazing books which I will be talking about in my 2017 favorites video, but there were also some that fell a little bit short for me, and that's going to be the topic of today's video. I actually ended up only having a total of 8 books to talk about in this video because I did read a good number of sort of meh 3-star books, but I didn't dislike them enough to put them into this video. So I actually only have 8 to show you guys today. As per usual with these types of videos, I am in no way trying to offend anyone. If I mention one of your favorite books of all time in this video, please know that I am so happy that this book did something for you. They just really fell short for me and they're just my personal opinion. I'm in no way trying to say that my opinion is the correct one. We all have different opinions, so just keep that in mind as you're watching this video, that I'm in no way trying to offend anyone. 2 more quick things before I get started. 1, these are in no particular order. I didn't rank them or anything except for my least favorite book of 2017, which I will save till the end because I have lots to say about it. And secondly, there are actually a bunch of people on my roof right now that are installing a new air conditioner, so if you hear some thumping, that's what that is, okay? Okay, so without further ado, let's get into my least favorite books of 2017. Let's go. I'm gonna just start off randomly in the middle with one that might make people a little bit angry, but that is Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. Okay, this is the second book in the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I read the first book as well, I think this year, it might have been last year, I don't really remember. But I read the first one and I was like, okay, that was alright. It was sort of cliche and the main character sort of annoyed me, but I guess I'll continue on with the series. Honestly, I've forgotten the little details about what this series is about, but from what I can remember, it's about the society that is divided based on blood, and there are silver bloods, which are the royalty that has special abilities, and then there are the red bloods that are just like normal people. But the main character in this book, her name is Mare, and she has red blood, but she has silver abilities, so she's the different one, you know what I'm saying? She ends up infiltrating the royalty and all this kind of stuff happens. Anyway, I feel like this series as a whole really just combined a bunch of different young adult traits and just kind of smushed them together like that, so it wasn't my favorite even from the beginning. But this book, let me tell you, okay, the main character in this book just drives me insane. That's the nicest way that I can put it. She drives me insane! Basically, I find her incredibly immature. She's incredibly moody and just emotionally just weird, and just everything that happened in this book made me want to throw this book at the wall. Again, it was really cliche as a second book in a YA dystopian kind of trilogy thing. I did end up reading the 3rd book because I had to read it for book club, and the 3rd book was a little bit better, but this book definitely takes the cake as the most annoying book that I read in 2017 because I just didn't connect with it. I just didn't, and I know so many people love this series. It just, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way for some reason. Next up, I have 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. Now, I have a ton of feelings on this book. I ended up DNFing this book. I think I took my bookmark out of it. I got about halfway through. If you have been absent, this has recently been turned into a really popular Netflix show, and everyone was watching it and raving about it, and everyone was reading the book again, and I've been wanting to read this book for a while because people had talked so highly of it, and then I picked it up. It's basically about this girl who ends her own life, but before she does, she actually makes 13 tapes, basically meant for 13 different people, which are basically 13 reasons why, like, you were the reason that I ended my own life. And I just feel like that approach to suicide is extremely problematic, and I just really dislike that it's being portrayed as sort of suicide is like a specific person's fault. And also, I know this book does not really deal with any of the mental health issues surrounding suicide, which I think is an extremely important and vital thing if you're writing about suicide, that you need to include medical stuff. You know, depression and stuff is a medical condition, and so just for that to be absent just really annoyed me. And from what I've heard, I know the show is pretty problematic as well. I won't be watching the show. I know this book is beloved by many. I just really disagree with a lot of the messages that it was portraying. I got about halfway through, I put it down, I couldn't take it anymore. I just disagreed with the messages it was portraying. So yeah. Next up, I have a creepy ass book that disturbed me, and that's why it's on this list, and that is A Face Like Glass by Frances Harding, whatever how you say it, I'm sorry. This is another book that I DNF'd. Oh, I still have my bookmark in it. So I got about halfway through, a little more than halfway. I had to read this for book club. Some people have made comments on my videos before asking me like, what about it was so creepy? And I think like the main thing is that, I don't know, in general I don't like horror books, I just don't, and I don't like creepy stories, and this book freaked me out, okay? It's like this really strange story. It follows a girl who's 12 years old, and she's like, it opens up when she is living as this sort of orphan kind of thing in these cheese tunnels. It's in this world where drugs are really prominent and things like that, and just for a 12-year-old to be in that environment just rubbed me entirely the wrong way. I think that it is a very whimsical, it's very different. If you want to give it a try, if you're really into creepy stories like that, you might like it. I just personally, for me, it just didn't do anything, and it like kept me up at night, and I couldn't, no, I don't like this book. Now I have two classics that I just really want to highlight as books that just, whew! So the first of my least favorite classics that I read this year was Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Basically, me and a group of my friends decided to read a bunch of these classics over the summer, and this was one of them, and oh my god. The single most boring book that I've read in my entire life, and I'm sorry if you like this book, it just... And I really don't like the way that it was written. It was written sort of like without chapter breaks. It's literally just like text, but it switches like perspectives in the middle of like the page, and I was just like, what's going on? And it really is, I thought it was boring, and I thought the ending was weird, and I thought the characters were weird, and I don't like this book. And then I have a book that we've read portions for school, and if you're from school and you're watching this, you're gonna know what book this is because it's like my least favorite book ever. And we read selections. We didn't read this whole thing, but we read selections, but from the selections it was enough to make me hate this book, and that is The Introduction to St. Thomas Aquinas. Oh, I can't. We literally only read probably a total of like 30 pages out of like this huge book, but it has scarred me. It's like this extremely philosophical Catholic doctrine kind of thing. Not that I have anything against that, it's just the way that it was written was so long-winded and boring and annoying, and I just have so much animosity towards it that I dislike it. Next up, I have a book that I don't even have on my shelves anymore, but I still want to mention it because it's a good one, and that is Piper Parish by Kayla Kagan. I've ranted about this book, I feel like, on multiple occasions. I wrote a long Goodreads rant on it, and to be honest, I've sort of blocked it out of my memory. I'm not 100% sure what it's about anymore, because like I said, I've kind of closed myself off from this book because I just, from what I can remember, it's about this girl who wants to get into art school, and she doesn't get into art school, and she basically whines the entire time, and she cries like every third page. Like, I'm not exaggerating. She and her friends cry every third page, and she is incredibly dramatic. She's incredibly annoying. The entire story is filled with a ton of like stereotypes and just I just really disliked it. It really didn't click with me, and I've since gotten rid of it, so that's all on that one. Next up, I have a book that I read during Booktubeathon 2017, which I was super excited about, but sadly it wasn't what I wanted, and that is These Vicious Masks by Taran Shankar and Kelly Zekas. Yeah, this is basically pitched as like an X-Men meets Pride and Prejudice, and I don't think that's an accurate representation of this book. The only X-Men kind of stuff comes in literally on the last page. And overall I found it extremely cliche. I found it really like a bunch of things that I don't like in YA books. It had too much angst, it had too much drama, it had too much, I don't even know the words for it. It just was extremely meh for me. It didn't click very well for me, and the romance was weird, and it wasn't really clicking for me, so it made it onto this list. Okay, the time has come to talk about my least favorite book of 2017. 2017. Are you ready? You might be able to guess it. I don't know though. But anyway, this book is my least favorite book of 2017. Not necessarily because I think it's like the worst written book ever or something like that. It's just because my expectations were so high and they just were so not met by this book, and it broke my heart. And that is Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. Renee Ahdieh, I adore with every aspect of my being. Her Wrath in the Dawn series is one of my favorite series of all time. It is beautifully written, it is masterfully crafted, and the characters in that series make my heart flutter, and I loved it so much. So when I heard that she was going to give this amazing Asian warrior story, I was super excited and I was all for it, and then I read it and I still want to cry because it disappointed me so much. First off, I heard so many people saying that this was a Mulan retelling, which it is not a Mulan retelling, and that might be sort of my own fault that I sort of read the wrong reviews and got the wrong stuff from it, because it is for sure not a Mulan retelling. The only sort of similarity between Mulan is that the main girl dresses up as a boy, but that's where it ends. It's not a Mulan retelling. And so, you know, I was thinking, oh my god, my favorite like retelling author is going to be doing Mulan, and so I was disappointed in that aspect. Also, it just didn't feel like Renee Ahdieh. I don't know whether like there was a different editor, or whether there was a publishing issue, or whether she just wrote this one in a completely different way, but it didn't feel like her. I missed it. It was extremely choppy and short, and it wasn't beautiful in my opinion. It didn't have what made me love the Wrath in the Dawn series so much. I thought it was pretty predictable, like there was a twist that I predicted from the very beginning, and the characters were really annoying, and I just really, I say that it's my least favorite book of 2017, but it's not because I hate it. It's because I'm just so sad about it, and that's why it's my least favorite. It just wasn't what I wanted, and I just wish that the old Renee Ahdieh who wrote The Wrath in the Dawn wrote this book, because it did not feel like the same person who wrote the two books. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm super sad about it, and I'll be sad about it forever. I'll still probably read whatever Renee Ahdieh writes, but this made me sad. Alright, so I think that is going to be it for my least favorite books of 2017 video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you're new here, and please let me know down below what your least favorite book of 2017 was. I would love to chat with you guys about them. I have all my social media linked down below in the description box if you guys want to follow me on those platforms. And yeah, I will have my favorite books of 2017 video coming up very soon, so look forward to that. And I'll see you then. Thanks again for watching. Bye!